All right, today we're going to be assembling and reviewing this Char-Broil grill. It is perfect for one person. I bought it for my mom and put it together for her. She wanted to be able to cook and grill by herself. So I'm going to get this thing out of the box and let's get started. So this is the grill that we are replacing, this old pitiful thing with the push button that barely works. It's got a wobbly handle, the lid's about to fall off, and it is in pretty sad condition, rusted out and whatnot. So it's time for that to go, and here is the new one. As I mentioned, Char-Broil is the brand, and I'm putting links down below in the description for this specific unit. I actually own the 4-burner unit. It's got TRU-Infrared technology, which I'll talk about later in this video, but I basically love this grill. I have pretty much the exact same one, and I have put out another video on how to get that thing assembled and a full review. It's quite a lengthy video, so I'm not going to duplicate anything. This is the smaller one. You can see here it's got 2 burners, so it's perfect for, you know, one person who does grilling for themselves, but it also has enough room for hosting small gatherings and, you know, cooking for small groups of people up to, I would say, 8 or so. You could fit quite a bit on here. So here it is out of the box. I've got all the parts pretty much laid out. Everything's packed really well. There's no blemishes, no dents, and that's what I did first when I took everything out. So we're going to start with the wheels here and the instruction manual. Again, I'll put a link in the description below. But we're going to start with this piece here, and we're going to put it upside down, taking care not to scratch anything. We want that magnet piece hanging over the edge, so basically it's laying on a flat, soft surface, right? We're going to take the wheels here, and we're going to be screwing them in like this. Now, the instructions call for this little piece. Can you see this little clip here? So I made the mistake of putting it in on the wrong side, so I'm going to show you how to do it correctly. So don't put it in this way from the bottom up. Can you see that? Because you're going to run into a problem. It's going to stick out and hit the edge as you try to turn it and tighten it. This little pin's important because it prevents the wheel from just spinning while you're trying to screw the threaded bolt into where it should be received. By the way, take note, 2 of the castor wheels have locking mechanisms. And it's pretty much up to you which, if you want to put those in the front, I recommend, versus the back. But in any case, that's up to you. But check out this little pin here. We're going to drop this pin down just like this. And that's going to allow you to turn the wheel and tighten it. Just hold it by the wheel. You don't need to spin it with the pin. But just like this. And that's going to get it nice and snug. Without that pin, your wheel will just spin and it won't actually tighten. So when you're done, you can take that pin out and store that for future maintenance if you need to. Once all 4 wheels are in and are tightened down securely, we're going to take this piece and flip it down. Then we'll take this next piece here. This is going to be the side unit. Note the orientation. The instructions do tell you step by step how to do this, so if you're confused, definitely check that out. But hopefully this video gives you a visual. It's always good to watch a video versus looking at black and white images on an instruction manual, right? So we're going to hold this piece up, and there should be 2 screws that are already kind of pre-assembled. So you kind of slide that in, and then the 3rd screw you'll have to take out of the little container that they give you, a little cardboard container, and tighten that down. And you can go ahead and tighten all 3 of these pretty securely, pretty snugly. You don't want to over tighten though on really any of these things. Just, you know, hand tighten until, you know, it hits some resistance, and then do a little bit more, because you can crack the coating on this if you over tighten. And I definitely don't recommend a drill. Just use a screwdriver. And some of the angles for the screwdriver are a little awkward. Anyway, next we're going to take this back piece. So note we've got the 2 side pieces already installed. And we're going to brace that up with this back piece. And there's no way to mess this up. We've got a screw hole there. So we're going to take one of the, there's basically 5 little screws. We'll just put that there for now. I'm not going to tighten that one first. I want to get the sides on first, and then I'll tighten that bottom one down. So we've got 2 on the side, on each side, and then 1 on the bottom. So 5 total. And we'll just kind of get those started. This is how I like to do it. Put the screw on the end of the screwdriver. If you've got a magnetic tip screwdriver, that would be much better. Then you don't have to hold it in place. But here we go. And I'm being careful not to strip any of the threads, right? It should screw in pretty smoothly. And then once those 2 sides, 4 screws total, I'll put that 5th one down below. So got all 5 there, and that should basically give all the sides some integrity and strength. Now you could flip it around, or you could just walk around to the other side for this next step. So we're going to take this piece and check the orientation. May need to press pause or rewind, but there are 2 holes on each side, just like that. And I'm going to put the camera down, give a better angle here. It's a little awkward, but pretty simple. And I don't like to tighten one screw down all the way. I like to get all of them threaded in loosely, right, so I can hold the part in place, and then I go through and tighten them down so that they're equally tightened. If I tighten one all the way first, I might have trouble aligning the other screw hole on the other side, for example. So it just gives you a little more flexibility and a little more play. So we've got 4 of those secure, and now we're going to take this little magnetic piece. If you can't find it, it might actually be the manufacturer put it on that same black piece that we're looking at. So you might just have to look around at that piece. It was just magnetic, just on there. And that just snaps into place. Next, we're going to take 2 other little screws for the handle, and they've got these little silver washers built into them. All the parts are labeled really well in the instructions, so make sure you got the right screws for the right part. And this is a little awkward, but we're basically going to tilt it up if you've got another person here. Obviously, I've got a camera, so it's a bit difficult, but we're going to be putting the handle on the top of the lid like that, and then from the underside, we're going to be inserting those screws. There's just 2 of them, like I said, and they just kind of go in like that. And lefty loosey, righty tighty. And you can do that by hand, get it started by hand, and then use a screwdriver to tighten those up all the way. A little awkward, but not too bad. So when you've got those screws hand tightened, that's what it should look like. A little wobbly, but secure. And then again, take your screwdriver and tighten that up all the way so the handle is nice and firm. Look at that. Next, we'll take another set of screws here, put them aside because we're going to be using those. And with 2 people, I'm an idiot, but 2 people, you'll move the top part. And can you see that the stuff that's still wrapped up? I recommend before you place this, or you could, before you tighten it down, you could definitely unwrap that first, because if you tighten it down before you take out it's basically the propane cable that you'll need access to. So I learned that the hard way. I basically secured this and then figured out, oh, you need to unwrap that cord before you, otherwise it's gonna be hard to access. So that would be a little tip here. And that's pretty easy. They're just a couple tie downs, and you just take that styrofoam padding off the cord. Anyway, to secure the top to the bottom part, the lid, basically the main grill burner unit, to what we just assembled, there's 4 holes, and you'll just align those just like that. And you might need to hold it in place while you put this hand thread the screw in to the hole. And you may or may not want to tighten that down all the way, depending. This next step is probably the most complicated part. This piece needed to be up and mounted. So what I did was I unbolted those holes right there, you can see, and it allowed me to lift the unit up to get this next little brass piece to the correct orientation. Because there's two little screws that you're going to have to take and mount that brass piece just like this. And I'll give you a better view here in just a minute. But two screws that are going to go there and there. Okay, can you see that? Just like that. There. So you want it to look like that, okay? And so the grill unit, the lid unit that you just assembled there's a better view for you, may need to be loosened up. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do lots of home projects and cool video. Hopefully they're cool. And don't forget to share this with somebody. Okay, so we've got that little cord piece assembled. We've got the lid tightened down, or the main burner tightened down. And next we're just taking this other little piece here, and there's two screws. Click rewind if you need to see that, of course. Two screws will mount this little silver drip tray thing, just like that. So that's pretty easy. It says this side up. All right, next we're going to get the shelves. Yes, this grill has two shelves that fold down and fold up. So this part, you want the shelf facing you with the perforated holes facing you, if you saw that. And then we'll take the brackets and align them just like this and get those secured down. We'll do that with both shelves. Click rewind if you need to see that again. And these are pretty cool. They just snap into place. The top bolt. And we'll be securing them with the bottom bolt in just a second. But for now, one-handed here, you just slide it in like that. And it sits on the top bolt. Could not be easier. There's the second one. And then it's secure, and it can bear the load, the weight of the shelf. Next, we'll take two of these. There's two little bolts, and then a nut that will go on the other side. We'll slightly lift up on the shelf, allowing access to the hole, and we'll put that screw through, that bolt through, and then this nut right here will go on the other side, and we'll tighten that down. And this will basically permanently attach the shelf so that it can't, for example, fall off, right? And these are cool. I love this design. It's so nice. It has a ton of strength. There are probably limitations, of course, but it allows you to put the shelf up and then down. So with those tightened, I'll show you how this works here in a sec. There we go. And then check this out. Look at that. Now the shelf does swing down and could hit the side. I don't think that's a big deal if you walk it down, but if you just let it go, it might hit and damage the side. That may be a small design flaw, but otherwise, pretty simple and effective. Next, we're gonna open the lid to the grill and install these two pieces. They're like V-shaped burner guards. I don't know what the actual name is, but you slide them in like that, and then the backs kind of rest on this V-shaped brace. Next, we'll put on the actual grates. Now, this is the infrared technology that I mentioned earlier, so it's supposed to distribute heat really, really well, and I think that's generally true. Cleaning them is kind of a pain, but I have devised a system using grill mats to cook on this, so I don't ever really have to clean the grates, which is awesome. And you can search my channel. I've got a video on grill mats, and highly recommended. So we're going to install the top thing, and then this is the drip tray. Definitely recommend this. And this is pretty high quality. It's a significant drip tray, so it will bring all grease and kind of angle it down through this little hole, and it drips into the tray just like that. All right, the next part, note there's two washers. One of them is smaller than the other, and they have to go on in the correct order. We're going to be installing the handle to the actual door, the swinging door that will house the propane tank. So to do that, click rewind to see the orientation of the washers. They go on the threaded screw or bolt, and then we will hand tighten it and then use a screwdriver to fully tighten. And we'll do that for the top and the bottom part of the handle. Pretty simple. And there we go. We should be nice and snug. Now to connect the door to the hinge, there's a bottom and a top. The top one will depress, so we're going to put the bottom one on first because that does not depress. So we're going to slide it on like that. And check this out. The top pin, see how it doesn't... So you have to actually put the camera down and you're going to push it in and then slide in the top. Just like that. You should hear it click, and then it is good to go there. And now your door should be functional. And one of the last steps here, we're going to unscrew the electric ignition. I love these things. The old grill had this like really, you had to push it really hard, which my mom's fingers, it was very difficult for her. This is a lot easier. It's got a little AAA battery. So you unscrew it, put in the new AAA battery, and then you can basically start your grill every time super, super easily. We need the propane tank, of course. In fact, I got this one installed from the old one, but we were a little empty. So I actually had to run to the store and get a new one, because I did want to do a pre-burn to make sure all the factory oil that was... this little thing secures the propane tank. It basically tightens it down from the bottom so it doesn't slide around on you if you're moving it or whatnot. So I'll do a pre-burn here in just a minute, but we're going to get this installed correctly. And note how the angle is pretty much straight, because I don't want to obviously twist that on the threads if it's kind of crooked. So the propane tank had to be facing in that direction so that it's a straight shot from the propane tank nozzle to where you're going to screw the hose on. All right, let's get it started up. Now you can't see the flame very well because the grates are so thick and those holes are so small. Let's take it off for you. It was a little warm already. And you can see we've got really nice flame. See the smoke coming up? It's probably the factory oil that's burning off. So I'm no pro or anything, but I definitely recommend, that's what I'm going to do. Bring it all the way up to like, I'm going to bury it at 650 degrees and just let it sit for several minutes. And then we should be good to go. Checking the other burner over there. Look at that beautiful blue flame. Something about a new grill. Look at that. Stainless steel. Hot flame. Love it. And one grate is bigger than the other. Not sure why they didn't just 50-50 it, but anyway, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. And the perfect size. And it does have wheels. My 4-burner grill like this does not have 4 castor wheels. You can move it. It's got 2 wheels where you can move it kind of back and forth, but this is much more versatile and much easier. We've got locks on the back. You can certainly install those castor wheels on the front, and it's just a cool grill. I'm really impressed with it. I've had mine for, I don't know, a year, 2 years maybe, and so I could speak for the credibility of this. Now, will it last 10 years? I don't know. I think it will. But anyway, I'm going to show my mom around here. There's the door. Turn the propane tank on and off. Before and after each use, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, and there is an indicator on the top of the propane nozzle, or the handle. Tells you which way to turn it, in case you can't remember. And she's going to Get some instructions here. To ignite it, you'll turn the dial just like that to ignite position. Hit or hold the button until you hear the flame. Or you can gently put your hand down or over it like that, and you should feel the heat. And the left burner, check this out. You don't have to press the button again. You just turn it, and it auto-ignites. Should be able to hear it as well. That soft flame ignition sound. Or you can put your hand over it gently to make sure there's heat. Now, like I said, we're going to do a pre-burn to get all the factory oil out of there or whatever gunk they put on there. And we're going to bury it at 650. And it took about, I don't know, 10 minutes to get there, something like that. And once it's roaring, it is roaring. It's hard to get it back down to 450 degrees. We've got some pork chops here. We're going to do our first, and I've tested other things on this if you want, to see how, pick up some other tips specific to this type of TRU-Infrared burner. Check out my other video, the reviewing the larger one. I go into much more detail. But here she is here. My mom cooking quite a bit. Note how much meat we're cooking here on one go. Yeah, you can fit. I'm not sure how many there actually are. We'll show you a video or a shot of it at the end. But probably 10 pork chops here of medium to. They're not the biggest pork chops, but you can fit quite a bit on here. So if you're hosting, it's great, and if you're cooking for yourself, it's great as well. So we'll put the thicker ones on first, and note the beautiful pattern here. That crisscross. Yes, we flip them. And like I mentioned earlier, I like to use the grill mats. They don't get that crisscross necessarily shape or that sear, but it's really going to help with cleaning. I do recommend that for getting up a set of those. They're like $10 or so. Just make sure it has a minimum temperature of 600 degrees or so. Some of them are only rated for like an oven for baking at like 400 degrees. Anyway, that's the grill, and overall highly recommend it. And hopefully this video has helped you out. Thanks for being with me, and happy grilling.